Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Tuesday, August 11th. It's our month of the courage to know yourself, and we're doing a deep dive between last Friday, yesterday, and today on unconscious coping strategies. You can also consider these our blind spots. Our next unconscious coping strategy is being perfect or perfectionism. I know I got a lot to say about that. I've talked about it in the past. Annette, what's your relationship with this one?
I don't really have a relationship with this one.
Unless
it's a blind spot. I mean, it could be a blind spot, right? But I don't think so. I like order, but I'm not familiar with the experience that I've heard from true perfectionists where they can have a lot of negative self-talk and they are very judgy about themselves. Like, did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Oh, I'm such a failure. That sort of thing. And that's where this coping strategy could be negative self-talk. So I don't have this in my experience, but I would love to hear. You have shared about your perfectionism, so maybe just share just a little bit more of how you've discovered that it is a blind spot.
For me, perfectionism was a coping strategy for anxiety. So I can show up absolutely perfect, do everything right, then at least I don't have to stress about myself. But then, of course, I'm stressed out and anxious about being perfect, so it really doesn't work that well.
Because then you're always second guessing yourself.
Totally, and it doesn't feel that good. There's a very deep lack of confidence. So it's not a great coping strategy, though it can feel like it. That's how all of these work. It's not a great coping strategy, but it feels right at the time. So if I'm deep in perfectionism and I want to do everything perfect and I'm getting all worked up because whatever I've done or haven't done isn't perfect, then I'm just blowing my top and it's not even that enjoyable anyway. And there's also this element, you can never be perfect enough if you're a perfectionist.
Well, this is where the Enneagram 1 really comes in.
Absolutely.
So we haven't talked about the Enneagram types and what they typically will fall into in terms of these blind spots. We can do that maybe later, but I can't hear about perfectionism without thinking about the 7 wounding to the 1 and the 1 who lives in this space of always second guessing themselves. Always, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is evil. It is such a anxiety producing place to be. And especially if it's a blind spot, because we just think that this is the way life is. Like, doesn't everybody think about themselves like this? Doesn't everybody worry about whether they're doing the right thing? And the answer is no. Many people don't. This is
I'm laughing because I'll ask you a question like, well, what did you think about? And this could be from something 3 weeks ago. What'd you think about that? I've just been thinking about it nonstop. And you'll say, I forgot that happened. And there is that thing where other people just don't even think about it. It's not like they're careless or aren't thinking. This situation happened, it was what it was, and they've moved on. A perfectionist cannot.
When I'm driving with you, just the other day, you were really sweet and kind, and you came with me and Molly, and we went to the vet. There was a guy on a motorcycle, which they shouldn't be doing this. This guy on this motorcycle came really fast in between the 2 lanes, and it's like, oh my gosh, didn't even know that guy was there. Then we went on, and then you said, I don't know why these motorcyclists do what they do. Like, that was not cool. And I literally forgot. I mean, I didn't, like, once you said it, I said, oh yeah, that was not cool.
And it was only 5 minutes later that I mentioned this. He was lane splitting at a light, and so going between the cars, then he sped off really fast from the red light after it turned green, and it looked like he was like weaving back and forth. It didn't look that safe to me. And then we got to another red light and there he was.
Yeah, he was right there.
And I thought, well, why would you do all of that, which seemed so dangerous, and we're all at the same red light again?
And you, the way you show up in life, it's a wonderful way, Ada. I mean, because you're careful and you want to do things right and all of that. But it really is interesting how the different Enneagram types, like for me, I just went on. I was thinking about everything else. And you were thinking about that guy, which I can totally understand, but it's that concentrating very, very heavily on what happened that was right, what happened that was wrong. I think that's a big experience of perfectionism. Like you don't let it go. But I also have known you like 2 or 3 days later, you would say something like that, where I think, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. So it's just a different way of showing up. This is why we love the Enneagram, because I know that about you. So I need to be very sensitive and understand that things stick with you.
And you also, as my mom, are right when you tell me to let it go and not to be such a perfectionist, because
I never want to discount what you're feeling, and at the same time,
give yourself a break, because
give yourself a break.
It's torturous to me.
Yeah, I mean, perfectionism can be quite torturous. And if it's a blind spot, what that would mean in this sense is that you don't know, other people don't have the experience of going back and analyzing how you said what you said or did what you did, or thinking about if something you hear on the news or learning about. I just watched this show. It was from 3 years ago, but it was about Kensington, Pennsylvania, where it's open drug market and these people are on the street and they're passed out, and you and I watched that together. And I think things like that stick with you longer than they stick with me. It's not that they don't stick with me. It's like I think about that and I think, oh gosh, that's such a tragedy that people live like that. And I will go on with my day where someone who has that Enneagram 1, which is more perfectionistic, correct me if I'm wrong, you can get very, very hyper focused on that is bad, that is wrong. And then the perfectionism is when you move it from what's out there to yourself, like I'm bad or I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's perfectionism. And it can be hell. So if you recognize this in yourself, it is an unconscious coping strategy. I'll tell you this too, it's not going to work. You'll never be perfect enough. So let's together find a different coping strategy for our anxieties and our stressors.
A positive coping strategy. Yeah. And the next subject that we're going to bring up, hopefully by mid-podcast tomorrow, I'm hoping will bring some understanding to how we might have adapted these coping strategies. And then the last week of the month, what we want to do is focus on our inner resources and how we show up when we're healthy, how we can let some of these coping strategies and blind spots go. Once you understand a blind spot, you see yourself, well, then that self-awareness piece says, oh, okay, now I know what I need to work on. And then that's what we want to focus on. And that's kind of our plan for the rest of the month.
I'm looking forward to it. So for today, our intention is another curiosity challenge to check in with our perfectionistic tendencies. Do we strive to be perfect? Do we beat ourselves up when we're not perfect? All those different ways where being perfect is an unconscious coping strategy. It's a blind spot, and maybe you didn't realize it until we are all bringing awareness to it. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.